YouTube, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. As always, a quick thank you for being here, for all the amazing support you guys have given the channel. And of course, that makes you a part of the, best damn community here on YouTube, no question. So, look, there are a lot of silver stackers out there, and quite a few of us here on YouTube. I mean, the plethora of channels to choose from pretty much qualifies that statement. And on those channels, you'll hear a lot of different opinions in regard to stacking silver, but opinions generally end with folks being for and against the shiny metal. You'll hear the supporters tell you that silver is underpriced, it's going to the moon someday soon, and it's a hedge against inflation. Those are the big three that you'll commonly hear. And then you'll hear the naysayers telling you that silver price is too manipulated, it's never going anywhere, and price moves about as quickly as a race car with no tires.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know, don't talk about that phrase, trademark, not to use the outside position of Ricky Bobby.
So which is it? Well, in the end, that's for you to decide. We all choose whether or not we want to continue stacking silver. We can either just carry on or we can just stop. Nobody's forcing our hand. But there's one perception that the naysayers cling to, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today and why that thinking may be flawed. And that being said, you already know it.
Let's freaking roll it.
Alright, let's get right into it. I stumbled onto a video this week where the content creator highlighted a video about an older guy selling his monster box of Silver Eagles. He'd bought them 10 years ago when spot price was supposedly 24 bucks and was selling them to a pawn shop, no less, and was only getting the same amount that he paid for the box 10 years ago. Spot price was still $24 at the time of the filming. So naturally, the channel instantly lamented the fact that it was the hidden part of stacking silver the dealers won't tell you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and address that. First off, the place in question was a pawn shop, so that was the first hint that the customer was going to get hosed regardless of what spot price was. And the pawn shop was allegedly offering spot price. Folks, you don't sell Silver Eagles to a pawn shop. That's probably the worst place you can go. They're in it for the bottom dollar, and they have no interest in giving the best price because they're all about the resale. And secondly, I have to question the accuracy of this 10-year claim because judging by the date of the video in the pawn shop, which was this year earlier in 2024, that would put the pawn shop customer buying the box in 2014, right? Simple math. Well, silver price opened 2014 at $19.94 an ounce, saw a high of $22.05 an ounce, a low of $15.28 an ounce, and closed out 2014 at $15.97 an ounce. So we have no idea when this guy bought his monster box to even make a determination of value. If he bought silver at $15.97 an ounce, you could factor in some premium for the Eagles for that time period of 2014. Let's say aggressively a $4 premium per coin. Then the customer would still be making out even with selling at $24 spot, since he can make roughly $4 per coin. Of course, you take away the loss of buying power on the dollar in that 10 years, but he's still fine. He made a little bit. But if he bought the Eagles when spot was $22 an ounce, as the high was back in that year, then yeah, he was raked over the coals and lost a little bit of cash over the 10 years by selling at that price. And lastly, there's no way I'd even let my Eagles go at spot price unless the price of silver has just absolutely exploded, because at that point it doesn't matter, right? You're way over what you got into them. Anyway, the content creator went on to say that the customer would have just been better off hiding his money under the mattress instead of buying Eagles because he had nothing to show for holding the box for 10 years. Well, here's where I disagree, friends and neighbors. All right, first off, let's stop looking at silver from an investment standpoint. This is important. Now, gold is more of an investment. Silver is better for preserving wealth. Now, what do I mean by that, preserving wealth? Well, I'll give you 4 examples. Number 1, customer we just talked about put his money into Eagles, held it for 10 years, and got a good chunk of it back when he sold it, if not a little bit more, even factoring the loss of purchasing power the dollar experienced over that time. And had he taken that cash and put it into a safe or under his mattress, like the content creator suggested, he would have lost far more purchasing power of those dollars over that 10-year span. At least with his silver, he got back what he had into it. That's preserving wealth. Number 2, once he locked his money into Eagles, he made that cash basically untouchable. Because it's a pain to liquidate your metals. Let's face reality here. It's a lot easier to spend cash that you have available to you than it is to sell you silver. We have that mentality of, oh wow, I really like that car. I'm going to take $2,000 of my cash stash for a down payment and I'll just put it back over time. Well, that's great, except many never make it up, and their little stack of cash slowly dwindles into nothing. Now, you're far less inclined to spend metals than cash. He got back money they could have easily spent on useless things. That's preserving wealth. Number 3, holding silver anonymously keeps a portion of your net worth off the grid and completely unaccounted for. Government has instant access to your bank accounts. I mean, they can order them frozen for whatever reason they see fit. Snap of a finger, they can do it. And the banks, they have no choice but to comply. No choice at all. Keeping some of your money stacked in metals keeps your money private, at least until you sell. That's preserving wealth. And number 4, unavoidable situations will happen in life. He at least had it in savings of sort. He could have liquidated that if he had a need pop up. Let's face it, emergencies arise in our lifetimes. The stack or the monster box of Eagles could have covered an emergency for him, and done. Problem solved. Nobody wants to think of liquidating their entire silver over debt or over a financial need, but it's there, right? He didn't have to take out a loan. He didn't have to spend saved cash. He had it in silver Eagles. There you go. That's wealth preservation. So hopefully you can see what I'm getting at here. I think too much emphasis is put on scenarios where someone didn't make any money, because when you think about it, there are far more scenarios where silver sellers did just fine with selling their metals. But that doesn't make for as interesting a video shouting about the terrible secret about silver that you're not being told about, right? Here's the deal. Can you lose money on stacking silver? Absolutely you can, sure. Just like you could lose money on that hot stock that you threw some cash at, or that bet you placed on the Super Bowl, or if the wife takes off with her personal trainer to Hawaii and half your wealth with her.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
Life is full of risk, and when you put your money out there, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Selling your silver is all about timing. Sometimes their buys really well, and their sale, and others FOMO'd and bought high only to short their silver and sell low in disgust because silver didn't do what the silver pumpers told them it was going to do. There's no point in selling at a loss, but things happen. We talked about that. Again, there might be a scenario that makes selling your metals unavoidable. But if you can at least break even when the time comes for you to liquidate, even after factoring a failing US dollar, then your silver has done exactly what it needed to do. That's how I see it. Folks, you don't buy silver to get rich. You just don't. You don't put all your eggs into metals over a standard portfolio. It should only be a small percentage of your overall portfolio. And you don't throw the precious metals Hail Mary if you're getting close to retirement and you haven't planned accordingly. You can't make it up in just metals. Just like I learned in the Marine Corps, you have to gather your intel, formulate a plan, execute that plan, and make modifications as you go through your stacking mission. Too many people are just throwing their money around to see what sticks, and that's just not being smart with your money.
Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid?
Stupid as stupid does, Mrs. Blue.
All right, folks, there you have it. So if stackers start putting emphasis on silver being a savings and not an investment to make a killer return, it might take some of the stress out of stacking. Silver is an industrial metal. It's always going to have price volatility. Gold has volatility as well, but it's more recognized as a safe haven for investor money when the economy's down. That's just what it provides over time. Now, in the end, both metals have very positive attributes that you can use to your own advantage as long as you're willing to assess your own risk tolerance. That's important. Anyway, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. You guys know I love going through them, so make sure you sound off. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I'll definitely catch up with you in the next episode. But in the meantime, oh yeah, you know what's up.
What do you want to do with your life?
I want to stack. Damn right, get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, folks. I will see you on Sunday.
You still here? It's over.
Go home. Go.
Oh, yes. And what was that beginning, middle, and end part again?